So why could we leave when y'all fucking feeding us pastries for breakfast and we still had to pay full price to stay here? Like, come on.
May I ask where you're going now?
We going to get something to eat.
Everything closed across the street. Everything closed. Gas station, shopping mall, everything closed.
So what are y'all doing for gas? You all knew this storm was coming, right? So you gonna give us bag lunches, bag breakfast, some pastries? That's so disrespectful.
Welcome to True Jamaica Buzz News and Entertainment with a Buzz. The video that you saw at the start of this is of some interaction with security, co-workers, workers, and some guests at the Rio Hotel, looks like Montego Bay. We're there, headed out to the road because they claim, meaning the guests, tourists, that they are going to get some food because the food that they are being given at the hotel is not sufficient. It is disrespectful. They are getting bag lunch. Now, people, here's the thing. I don't know how the conversation started and I don't know how it ended. I am just going based on this and based on reactions that I've seen, generally over social media with persons complaining, mostly Americans. This is what we call entitlement. This is what we call far from reality. This is what we call the heights of unreasonableness and the heights of ignorance. Now, people, I understand that you're going to be frustrated if you leave from wherever you left, America, and you work hard and you come spend 2 weeks of your vacation. However, you must also be knowing of where you're going and the circumstance and situation in which you are going. And the truth and the fact is that this hurricane has been hovering in the Caribbean Sea somewhere for the longest time. This was not a spur of the moment hurricane that just pounced up surprisingly on anybody, including locals, persons, international, tourists, rete, lele, blue, blah, blank. Most importantly, this is hurricane season from X month to X month. Don't know the specifics, which we are in right now. So therefore, when you left your house, left your yard, left from wherever country you might have left from, and again, I am going to give some people the benefit of the doubt. Sometimes people book them flight, book them reservation, hotel way in advance. However, just before you leave, you should have checked and see what is the weather like. Is there any impending hurricane out there? Somewhere just waiting to crawl and creep. When it comes to this hurricane, Melissa, it has been hovering over Jamaica in the waters before it hit Jamaica for maybe a week or so. As a matter of fact, we were expecting it days in advance before it actually got here. Nobody has any sort of control over that. When it reach, it'll take its own mighty time and just a tatty, just a dance in the Caribbean Sea or whatever sea it was coming from. So therefore, when it come, certain things is going to happen, especially when it come in our worst category that it can come in, meaning category 5. 185 miles per hour or so, give and take, in and out. The speed that it is going and the wind gusts, the sea, whatever the circumstances, what them call it. Talk to some sorts of weatherman about that. So when it came and it hit badly. Places like Montego Bay, where this is where this rear is at, places like Hanover, places like Westmoreland, places like Trelawney, places like St. Elizabeth's. So therefore, you know that there's going to be certain inconveniences that are going to happen. And you will have to be very considerate, and this is the reason why. Whenever a hurricane like this comes, some of the amenities that you're used to, you are not going to get, as in the cable might be slow, as in electricity might be iffy, Meaning that even though they have a generator, that generator might work for a little while, but after a couple of days, the source of energy that that generator has is going to dwindle down to nothing. So therefore, the suppliers that are supposed to come and bring it won't be able to come and bring it because of the inconveniences, meaning that all sorts of tree blow down, all sorts of road are impassable. And most importantly, the workers that work at the hotels, they can hardly get their way to work. Some of these workers, for them house pop down, for them family in a disarray, for them family traumatized. So therefore, they are not going to be at their most efficient if they are going to make it any at all. So therefore, if you don't have the energy to run the hotel, if you don't have the workers, if you don't have stock such as the food that you're relying on, then these people will have to make do with whatever they have. They are not going to be able to cook your steak and lobster and scrimps and curry goat and oxtail that they usually do. It is beyond their control. So therefore, all the people are asking you is just to be reasonable. And I understand that hotels like Ria, 5 star or 4 star, they are not cheap. However, they are going through it too. And I am not saying that in circumstances where it is a hurricane, unusual circumstances, they might not have to charge you that much. They might have to give you a refund, but that depends on their refund policy. So therefore, you should know all of this going in, going out. Whenever you are stuck, whenever you leave from your house and you did not do your due diligence and know that you are in hurricane season and know that there was a pending hurricane somewhere out there in the Caribbean Sea or whichever ocean that it was before it came to Jamaica. And like the saying goes, he who fails to prepare prepares to fail, and we saw that a whole bunch of persons failed to do their due diligence, and a whole bunch of persons failed to be reasonable. So therefore, this is why I said a lot of you persons, meaning American, meaning European, because most of the videos that we see are a bunch of American and people. This has nothing to do with America, which is a place that I live. So therefore, I am not going to disrespect the place that gave me or gave me an opportunity. But me just say, some of una people act too entitled. And what makes it worse, it is not as if you are used to the finest thing. So therefore, when you come to Jamaica, don't act like you want to disrespect the people because they are catering to you. You pay for a service and you're getting the service, and the service only change because the circumstances change, unusual circumstance. So all persons are asking is for you to be very, very reasonable. Know that the amenities that you paid for are not going to be available because the gas, because the store, because the employees, because the road, all of the logistics that go into you having a good time. So I understand that you might be disappointed because you're not able to go in these pool and dance and gyrate and have a merry good time. So I say this to say that unless you are reasonable, unless you feel as if you are entitled to certain things, even when things have changed drastically for the worse. You have to remember, as bad as it is, you're able to get some box lunch, you're able to get some pastries, you're able to get juice, you're still able to lay in some plush hotel rooms, even though you might not have the convenience of the amenities. But just think, be mindful of what is going on out there. Whole communities are flooded. Whole communities, everybody lose them house, lose everything. People are actually out here dying. There are persons that are missing. So far, it is 12 persons that have died due to circumstances affiliated with the storm, meaning Melissa. We can expect that amount, the missing and dead people, to increase significantly. So therefore, count your blessing and don't just complain about everything. It sounds unreasonable. It sounds entitled. Point blank and period.
Road to go on Maroon Town, you know? Here do. Whole of the road gone.
So the next thing that is popping in the news, based off the video that we just saw, is of a road that is in Maroon Town. So pretty much we can say that Maroon Town has been marooned from the rest of the community. Don't know if that is a single road leading in and out of Maroon Town, because if it is, people kind of get screwed, and you saw that some persons were walking to the side. However, when it comes to a landslide, it is always active, meaning that even the parts that you see people walking on, that could easily disintegrate and fall based on the amount of moisture, based on the amount of saturation. Now, people in Jamaica, it is not anything unusual to see potholes in the road. But people, this is even bigger than a crater upon the moon. As a matter of fact, this should not be even spoken to as some sorts of pothole. This is what we call Queen Kong hole or Godzilla hole. If you are slow, then it is going to fly over your head. So therefore, this is not PAT hole, as in poems. This is Godzilla or Queen Kong hole. Now, based on what we're seeing right here, this is going to take a whole bunch of infrastructure, outer structure, over structure. This road pretty much seems like it is impossible to rebuild. However, we should not lose hope. And if the government of Jamaica that is slow, like molasses rolling up a hill in Alaska in a blizzard, just imagine how they are going to fix this. It looks almost impossible and impossible. Point blank and period. So the next thing that is popping in the news. Yesterday I did a video and I said that the amount of persons that are losing their life is piling up. It is going to be stacking up. We saw that the number jumped from 2 to 3 to 4. Now it is presently at 12, meaning the unofficial count, because you and I know, based on the severity, based on the flooding, based on the destruction, mass destruction that we saw in some communities, it looked like some sorts of bomb dropping there and just blew up the whole place to smithereen. So we can expect that basically because of there's no communication through flow or digicel, persons are trying to reach in contact with their family. There is no sort of cell tower that persons can communicate through. When people finally find their family member, if they are even found, if they are not washed away in some gully, in some river, way down a sea, then you know so we are going to hear that this 12 is going to jump to maybe 20 to 40. So therefore, I say this to say that hope for the best and expect the worst. It is not looking good, and based on the severity of how the place get mashed up, based on what we've seen in other countries, people are drowned, people get squashed, people under this, people under that. We should expect that we are going to have a whole bunch of DEATHS without a shadow of a doubt. If it reaches below 50 or even worse, 100, then Jamaica should consider itself very, very lucky. Point blank and period.
Man. Watcha dog. Bone ground this way there, brother. Watcha. No road, no there bone ground, dog. Watch out. No road, no there bone ground, boss said. No road. Look here in our yard. Look on this boss here, brother. Pan this vax here. Sink, brother. Pan this vax here. Grow in front, go show no dog. Because this a girl deal with the place, brother. Wicked bomb buckler, girl, this a brother. Come here. Look on the people in veranda, brother. Look on the people in house. I know vax looking at the people in house. Me bomb buckler. Watch out. You can walk on the vax it up on here, so. Come here.
Jesus.
Go there. Can tap on the vax it on here, so, brother.
Jesus. Tell people change their ways.
You see that?
Believe, man.
So when some man they show about their millions and billions, look on that. We're glad so we have life, you know? Life is the greatest.
So the next thing that is popping in the news, based off the video that you just saw, moral of the story is that always count your blessings. Always give thanks for life because life is the most important thing. With life, any and everything is possible. And I am sure that there are countless persons out there that probably would wish that they were still alive today. Unfortunately, they lost their life due to circumstances beyond their control, as in Hurricane Melissa, Category 5 hurricane that pretty much devastated Jamaica. Look like some sort of nuclear bomb blew up the place. When we talk about landslide and land slippage, this is probably one of the worst that I've ever seen, especially in Jamaica. We've seen landslide before where a couple of pebbles, couple of rock boulders roll down the hill. But we've never actually seen, well, me personally, a whole vehicle move from one place wherever it was on top of the hill or down the street or down the lane, up the hill or whatever the circumstances, end up lodged in somebody else's yard. I doubt that that van was there and then the rest of the rubble, the rest of the landslide just circulated around it and it was not moved. No, that vehicle was moved from on top of some hill at somebody else's house. Somebody else's vehicle end up in somebody else's yard. That means that the owner of that vehicle more than likely did not live at the house in which it lodged. Now we hear people are say, on if change on folly ways. And we've heard a whole bunch of conspiracy theorists saying that God is beating Jamaica because of all the evil, all the murder, all the corruption, all of the little pit them are going missing. People that might have something to do with it, but it is mostly modern nature. It cannot tame. You don't know what is going to happen from time to time. So therefore, always expect the unexpected. And whenever you have lived through something like this, maybe it is time to put your life into introspect and start look within yourself. The way that you are living, is this repercussion for your filthy way, your evil and demonic way? A possibility, but mostly nature. Point blank and period.